So growing up, man, we could not touch that video game or go outside and play until we read a book for 30 minutes. And after we read a book for 30 minutes, we had to write down a paragraph on what we just read. So reading and comprehending. And so as I graduated, went on to school, went on to play in the NFL. My first year in the NFL, I immediately started my foundation. And this year is actually my 16th anniversary of my nonprofit. And it's because I've always knew that I wanted to give back. When I ended up leaving Benton Harbor and I started looking at Benton Harbor education, I would look and see, why is Benton Harbor area schools rated a 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10? Like, what's going on? And I never knew why. And so I started digging and I started realizing that, 90 to 95% of our kids are not reading at grade level.
Working professionals, creators, entrepreneurs, I need y'all to tap in. Listen, if you're tired of fighting distractions at home or bouncing around from coffee shop to coffee shop, then Bamboo has exactly what you need to be able to lock in and get your work done. In addition to having flexible meeting rooms and event space, they've got a community that actually supports you while you're in the building. So if you're ready to lock in some space right now, guess what? I got you. If you head over to bamboocowork.com right now and use the promo code BlackFriday20, you'll get 20% off any of your rental bookings. Don't waste any more time. Head over to bamboocowork.com and take care of that. Use that promo code. I'll be seeing you at a Bamboo location sometime soon. Now, let's go ahead and get back into the episode.
What up, Doe, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, send some videos to family, friends, and loved ones so that we keep this thing going. Now that I got that business out of the way, I want to introduce you to someone who is adamant about giving opportunities to our young people right here in the city of Detroit. In addition to their philanthropy, they're also an entrepreneur and a community builder. And then you'll get a chance to learn more about that by the camp that they have coming up this summer for our young people. And I don't want to forget this either. Former Detroit Lions star and NFL alumni, Mr. Joique Bell. How you doing today?
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It's super dope. Saw a couple of your interviews, man. I love what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And grateful to have you on the platform, man. Love the work that you've been doing over the years and then also your commitment to the city of Detroit as well. And I know on your IG, it's Benton Harbor raised me, Detroit made me. And you are probably like one of 3 or 4 people that I've met from Benton Harbor. Never got a chance to talk to anybody about it or learn more about it myself. So I want to start with the foundation of Joique and starting in Benton Harbor. So if you could take me back to a young Joique and growing up, tell me about Benton Harbor and what life looked like for you back then.
Small city. I think we had a population of 12 to 15,000 people. We're a basketball town. And so I grew up around a lot of basketball fanatics and fans. Graduated with Wilson Chandler, who played in the NBA for 14 years. I actually played with them in, we were teammates in junior high basketball team, and then we played in high school together. Animal. It was Animal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mr. Basketball. And then ran up one in the state, number 8 in the country. And, I could have went to the NBA too, but, I chose the NFL route, right? No, but, I was a kid. I loved all the sports. I played baseball from the age of 8 till I graduated high school. 4 years varsity, 3 years varsity football, 3 years varsity basketball, 3 years varsity track. Just a kid who loved playing sports, grew up in the church. Father was a pastor. Mom was a missionary. My godfather was a co-pastor at another church. His son and I grew up best friends. And so whenever I wasn't at home, I was at their house every Sunday. My godfather was actually my first football coach when I was 8. He gave me my first running, my first handoff. I remember the play. It was called the Joique Bell Special. They just hand the ball out to. I was 8. I remember they gave it to me. I ran with it, scored a touchdown, and kind of got that feeling like, okay, this is what I want to do right here. I want to play this position. And I want to do this for the rest of my life. This is what I want to do, right? And so But love growing up in Benton Harbor. You don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you're missing until you leave. And looking back at it now, I mean, I had everything I needed. Parents loved me. I had a godfather who did everything he could to make sure I was successful. Even me going to Wayne State, I got there because my mother couldn't afford for me to go. And so my godfather went half with her on sending me to the U of M football camp, and it was at that football camp that I met Wayne State. And the funny part is Wayne State was the only school I approached the entire week at that football camp. And then when the camp was over, I was one of the players they recruited the hardest. And that's how I ended up getting to Wayne State.
And speaking of that journey going to Wayne State, I was listening to a previous interview that you did where you talked about your freshman year at Wayne State. You were not only playing football, but then you also had a security job for the team that you ended up playing for in the Detroit Lions. So before I get to talking more about the pathway to the Lions, more so wanted to ask you about your work ethic at that point in time, because I was talking to somebody earlier today who was a collegiate athlete, and they talked about how they feel like they missed out on the opportunity to really immerse themselves in like the education of college because they were so focused on their sport. So to hear that you not only were playing a sport and then also working, and I believe that you had a child at that point in time as well. Like how did you gotta be locked in to be able to, hold all those things down, even a couple of those things. So how did that look for you back then?
Yeah, I guess growing up and seeing my parents and, watching them raise me, I'm like, man, they really got this thing figured out. Just to grow up and realize they didn't even know what they were doing. They was winging it.
Yeah.
I was winging it. I was just present, and I knew my goals. And one thing that always sat with me, I never wanted to ask my son to do something that I never did. And so regardless of how hard it got or how hard it was, I was tougher, or how tough it was, I was tougher. And so, having my son come up with me on campus and him staying with me in the dorms and going with me around campus and people, I played so much. I was a jokester. So they would call me Joikester, right? Because I was always joking around. No one believed I had a kid, right? And so me and my son really grew up together. Right? And so the dope part about that now is that almost like a three, not even a 360, but special, because now my son is now staying in those same dorms that I had him in as a kid, going to Wayne State, playing for the same football team, and it's dope for me to be able to go back. So it's like a kind of like a full circle moment for me to be able to do that, and he loves it. And for me to be able to be an entrepreneur and then have my son working, at my different businesses, giving him an opportunity to kind of, learn the business, right, from the ground up. And then not only that, but he has a little, I guess he think he has some juice because he can get some of his teammates in to work at my establishment, which this is what it's all about, right? I want to help out as many Wayne State kids as possible. I want to help out as many Detroit kids as possible. And the reason that I feel that way, because I had so many people help me along the way, from my childhood to my adulthood, college. And the only way that I can repay the people who helped me is by, paying it forward. So
how does it feel for you to be in that position now, to be able to look up and say, like, if your son does come to you and be like, hey, I need an opportunity, or a friend needs an opportunity, and then you can look around and like, I actually got the resources to be able to do this.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. So we're at my son's football banquet at the end of the year. My son brings up one of his teammates and like, Dad, I got this teammate right here, and he's looking for a job. He wants to come work at Parlay. All right. We have interviews every Tuesday, 2 to 6 p.m. Come in. Let's see how it goes. He was like, really? I'm like, yeah, just come in. Let's see how to do the interview, and we'll take it from there. Now he's been working for me for about 3 or 4 months now. So it's opportunities like that I'm in a position where I'm able to give back that way as well. Because I know when I was in college, I needed a job. And so that's how I ended up getting a job for the Lions. My brother-in-law at the time was an FBI agent, and he worked for the Detroit Drug Task Force, and he will partner with the Detroit Police, with the FBI, and they'll go get the bad guys, right? And so I guess he would do background checks for the Lions, and he had a good relationship with the head of security, and basically told him about me and got me a job working. And not only got me a job working, but also got me a car. Well, gave me one of his cars to be able to get back and forth from work. It was an old Buick. I think it was a LeSabre Buick, and it was like a 1980s, and it was like falling apart, but it got me to point A to point B, right? And so I'll never forget that moment, right? And he really was a father figure, but he was more like a big brother in age, but more like a father figure. And we're very close. And so it's people like that. Paul Source, by the way, is the guy name.
Okay.
And great guy. Shout out to Maurice Burton, my godfather, Benny Bowers, who was one of my mentors as well, who's a state trooper. So it's super dope to kind of, be in the position where I'm at now. And I know it's because, I'm a child of the just, my parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts all prayed for me, so.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And speaking of opportunities, you have your annual summer camp that's happening this year. And in addition to be able to have the focus on the youth and sports, you're going a little bit further and deeper into what it is that you're offering them based on some of your life experience. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so growing up, man, I would go to my godparents' house, like I told you. We could not touch that video game or go outside and play until we read a book for 30 minutes. And after we read a book for 30 minutes, we had to write down a paragraph on what we just read. So reading and comprehending. And so it always came natural to me, right? And so as I graduated, went on to school, went on to play in the NFL. My first year in the NFL, I immediately started my foundation. And this year is actually my 16th anniversary of my nonprofit. And it's because I've always knew that I wanted to give back. So it started off as just a celebrity basketball game. Then from that, it grew to a football camp, to where I would have the younger girls come up to me and say, well, what do you have for us? We want to do something too. So I started having cheer camps, and I would get the Lions cheerleaders to come down and do the cheer camps. And then it went from a cheer camp to a dance camp, football camp, celebrity basketball game. We would go out to every school in the surrounding area of my hometown, grab 2 kids that were seniors, one for the boys basketball team, one for the girls basketball team. We'll bring them all to Benton Harbor, and they will play all my friends, like whether NBA players, football players, influencers, other celebrities, actors, actresses, and they'll come in and we'll be playing against the kids locally. Basically giving them something that I never had when I grew up, an experience they can take with you for the rest of your life. And I remember doing that, and 7, 8 years later, I would get emails or DMs or messages from people who played in those games who will reach back out to me and tell me thank you for that experience. And so for me, as far as the education part, when I ended up leaving Benton Harbor and I started looking at Benton Harbor education, I will look and see, why is Benton Harbor area schools rated a 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10? Like, what's going on? And I never knew why. And so I started digging, and I started realizing that, 90 to 95% of our kids are not reading at grade level. So it's no way for a kid to go in the classroom, look at what a teacher's writing on the board, and be able to read that and then comprehend that and write it out on paper. There's no way that they can do that. And so I met with a group randomly. I had to go do a speaking engagement, and I had to go speak to some kids because somebody bagged out. So the Lions reached out to me because I was one of their ambassadors, and I went out to what school was that? I think Detroit Central. Was it Durfee?
Yep. Yeah.
So I went to Durfee, and I spoke to a group of kids, and all these kids that were there were volunteers, and spoke with these kids, and kind of told him my story. I didn't know what program it was though. And after I finished giving it my spiel, it's a Q&A, but it's really not me talking and ask Q&A. It's really a conversation I'm having with the kids. I don't like to talk at you. I like to talk to you. And I remember one of the kids, I have the kids, whenever they speak to me, I have them stand up, say their name, their grade, and then ask their question. And one of the kids asked me a question that I would never forget. He stood up and gave me his name, gave me his grade, and then said, well, how do these teachers expect us to come in here every day and learn, but we don't have electric at home. We don't know when our next meal is coming. We don't have clean clothes. We don't have hot water. Like, how are we supposed to come in here with that on our plate and focus on learning? And that was the hardest question I ever been asked. I mean, if a pen dropped, it would have sounded like an atomic bomb in there, right? And it just took me back to my childhood where, I had me and my sister, when my mom and dad divorced and my dad moved away, I remember my mom was struggling, and I remember he had to go through a lot of things, but I didn't know what poverty was. I just thought, like, this is just how it was, Our iron doesn't work, so, you put it on the stove, get it hot, and you iron your clothes, or, the water's off.
And so you got to boil it, put it in the tub.
But we don't have water.
Got
the water's off.
Yeah.
And so my sister became a scientist. So she took the water hose, connected it to our house, and then ran it all the way to our neighbor's house, connected it to their water hose, turned it on, and that water ran into our house and gave us running water in our pipe. So we filled up, buckets of water and gallons of water and just stored it. So in the morning we can just take, bird baths over the stove, right? And so, but for me, it was just like, this is just life. I don't know I'm in poverty. I'm a happy kid, Mom's here, sister's here, she's healthy, my mom's healthy, and they love us. I'm going to school every day, we figuring it out, eating syrup sandwiches, they
don't know nothing about that. Yeah.
In the trenches, man. Picking the mold off, like, this is what it is. But, I enjoyed all of it, right? And it kind of made me a person who I never ever played the victim role, right? It was, oh, well, okay, let me figure it out. Like, it's always, where there's a problem, there's always a solution. But at the same time, everyone doesn't have that mindset, right? Why do you have to be that way, right? And so what I want to do is give the kids the opportunity to say, you know what? If I can have all these resources, if I can learn how to read, if I can learn how to comprehend different classes, right? If I'm going to English, now I can understand that. I'm going to reading, I can understand that. It even correlates over to math as well. So all these different things, if just by learning how to read, right, can put you in better opportunities. So we've had kids in our program that were in 10th grade, reading at a 5th grade level, go through our program and test out reading at 11th grade. Kids that are 11th grade reading at the 5th grade level, test out reading at the 10th grade level. And we've had this like across the board through our program. And so now this is something I wanted to bring to as many kids as possible. Like in the Detroit schools, at one point in time, was 85% of our kids were not reading at grade level. So, you have 45,000+ students in DPS. So we want to make sure that we're giving every kid as possible, or as many kids as possible, an opportunity to be able to be a part of this program. We can take in everyone, but that's why it's so crucial for, if you guys to see this, to sign your kids up ASAP, because our sign up is super simple. Just go to jbcharity.org, go to registration, put your kids' information in there, hit submit, and they'll be on our list. Now, we haven't filled up yet, but we're about 85, 90% there. And so once that happens, we're not going to close it. You can still sign up, but what's going to happen is the only way that we can select your kid to come in is if a kid, goes on vacation and he leaves. Now we can, bring one of your kids in. So are we going to cut it off? No, we're not going to cut it off, but we are going to cut off the amount of kids that we're able to accept. And so, like, please take advantage of this opportunity, right? It's not too many times. What makes my camp a little bit more unique is that I'll be able to bring in a lot of my teammates, a lot of my celebrity friends, for some of the kids who may want to be an actor, or kids who may want to be a football player or a basketball player, or even a professional dancer, right? And doing choreography and touring with different artists across the world, right? And doing what you love to do. Whether it's that, whether you want to be a judge. I have judges coming in to talk to the kids. People to come in and talk about financial literacy, because as African American culture, I was never taught that,
right?
As a child growing up, and so for me, that was always important for me to kind of push back. I'm not only the kids in my program, and not just to my kids, but to even my adult friends who may not know, right? So it's for everyone. And so for me is, if we can get one reader in the house, because a lot of the time they say, well, that starts at home. But when they did the study, that was about 52% of DPS students' parents couldn't read efficiently. So when you say it starts at home, does it really start at home? They really can't combat that.
Right.
Well, if we can just get one reader in the house and they start reading, then it might inspire the other ones to kind of get on board, right? And that's kind of how we change it. So.
And do you have, speaking of the camp, do you have any success stories from previous camps? You say you've been doing it for 16 years. So any students that went off and been able to be successful and come back and still be able to pour back in?
So it's two things. So we started the camp, but when we first started the camp, it wasn't a literacy program. We was just doing football camps. I shifted my nonprofit to wanting to do this in 2019, where I decided I wanted to make that shift. And it took me about 3 years to get into the schools. And then last year was my first year doing it in a summer program setting. And so this would be our second year of the summer program setting. But we've been doing the literacy program for the past 5 years. So, and we usually work with elementary kids, junior high, and we also work at high school as well. Right. So I think our last year in the high school, we were actually working in the high school during the school day and not an after school program. So it wasn't a curriculum, but we were pulling kids from different classrooms throughout the week so they can come in, reap the benefits of this program.
Yeah. And before we go any further, I got to put a pause in the action, because I want to introduce you to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays.
Yeah.
So we've seen you build businesses, build community, build programs and curriculum for students. We ain't seen you rap, at least on camera. So we're going to need some bars from you.
No, I can't rap.
We can't get 8, 16.
Oh, man, 8, 16. Man, I tried that one time before. I was like, man, what did I just say on the mic?
Well, we're going to do these rapid fire questions if that's cool with you. All right. So I'm going to start off first, man. I would love to know, where would you say you got your sense of style from? I've seen you out in a few different places in public. You definitely be putting it on, man. So I wanted to know where you feel like you got your sense of fashion from.
Do I? Man, I go to
Put it in the comments.
I just though, shout out to shout out to my stylist. Well, she doesn't even style. With my sister, man. She has a lot of style, so she looks out for me. And then if I see something I like, I may put it together. All right. And it's like looking at, I don't go through magazines. I'm not like a big, I don't put too much energy into it, but I do like to look nice. So just, I don't know. Yeah.
For sure.
I really don't know. Like, I know what I like. I know how to dress my son. I take my son shopping. I'm like, no, don't put that down. I'm gonna put this. Now he's getting his own style now, so I can bag back. But honestly, I don't know. I'm not big into fashion, but I am. I just like to look nice. That's about it.
For sure.
No name brands, really. If I do, I got it on a discount. 100%.
Like John Witherspoon said, you got to coordinate. So as long as you know how to coordinate, you're good.
As long as you know how to coordinate, it's fine. Then I got pieces. And my sister come put them together. Like, okay, this looks good. Put that together. I'm like, all right, in and out.
For sure.
Yeah.
What was your favorite subject in school?
It was math. Until I got to high school. And then I didn't have one. I just was a good student, gym. No, reading. So I didn't like reading at first. And then my godmother when she made us read 30 minutes every day, I actually enjoyed it. And so when my nieces and nephews and my kids, when they come over, I will always make them read, but it wasn't 30, it was for an hour. And then after they read, they had to write down what they read. And, you know, they didn't like it at first, and then they grew to like it. So, like riding a bike.
Yeah. Are you reading anything right now, or could you tell us one of your favorite books?
I got a lot of books. But for one thing, for me though, whenever I read, I always have to read for knowledge. So, I like The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah, that was fire.
48 Laws of Power, powerful book. It's a long book.
You read The Way of the Superior Man?
The Way of the Superior Man.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I have that one. And then everybody says this because there's a lot of mixed reviews. I actually do like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I actually do like that book.
Yeah, great foundational book.
Yeah, it's very surface level, but it's a good book, right? It's a good book. So like I had my son read that book when he was in 8th grade. Right? So I made him read that when he was in 8th grade, and then write me a paper on what he read. So that was a good book for getting into investing. The 5 Laws of Financial Fitness. I actually go through that with my son every morning. He would have to give me the 5 Laws of Financial Fitness. Yeah, that's probably the ones right there.
I was gonna say you got.
My bad. I can't forget Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich.
Okay,
I can't forget that. Now that one is a little bit. My suggestions when you read that book: read 1 paragraph a day, and make sure you have paper to write notes. And you might have to go through that chapter 1 or 2 times because you're always gonna see something new, maybe 3 times. And that book is a lot of history with that book. So
for sure.
Yeah. Yours?
To this day, Shoe Dogs by Phil Knight. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite books. Period. About business. It talks about his journey in starting Nike, and basically it ends with Nike going public. And
Phil Knight?
Yep, Phil Knight. Yep, love that. Absolutely love that book. Some recent ones that I just read or I listened to because I do audio to make sure I actually read the book. So I got the physical version and I do the audio version. I listened to Rewrite Your Own Rules by Morgan DeBond, the founder of Blavity Afrotech. And then You Deserve to Be Rich by the guys that Earn Your Leisure, Troy and Rashad.
All right, yeah. But if you had to pick one.
Like one of all time?
Yeah, it would be Phil Knight.
It's Phil Knight for sure.
Mine would probably be Tax Free Wealth.
Okay.
That one. I love that one. It gives you so many tools to use. Because to start a business, there's going to be a lot of things you have to do to get there, which is important. It's super important. And the thing is, like, getting there is hard. Keeping it is even harder. And so when I started reading that book, I just, I'll give you this story. I remember I was a rookie, and I had just went to the New Orleans Saints. I signed a sign-up bonus for about $60,000. And I don't know too much about taxes. I knew a little bit, but nothing for real, just 2010. And at this time, I was doing a check, not direct deposit, because I had just got there, so I had signed with them the first game of the playoff. So do you remember the Beast Mode run?
Of course.
That was my first game on the Saints.
Wow.
So I'm on the sideline watching it in person. Mitt Romney was running for president in 2012. Right? And so I think one of the debate questions was that he made $20 million. And in my head, I'm thinking like, you know what? When I got paid that $60,000, when I got my check, I only touched $31,000. Right? I was hot. I was furious. I called my agent like, "What happened to a financial advisor? Who's taking? They're like, let's go through your pay stuff, right?" And so
Uncle Sam.
So I'm watching Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, and they're saying he made $20 million, and they said, but he only paid $1 million in taxes, right? I said, there's no way he paid $10 million in taxes. And they took half of mine. I know they took half of his because he made more. And turn around, he paid $1 million in taxes. And I called my financial advisor, furious again. How the heck do he only pay? You know, he's like, Joique, listen, he has businesses, he has employees, he has assets that he can write off. All right. Hung up. And I started research, like, how can I protect my money, right, from taxes? And so I started reading more, started asking more questions. And after he told me that 2011, 2012, 13, I bought my first real estate property, and I started to build my real estate portfolio and started to grow it. And from there, I was like, okay, now I have some properties. I can write some things off. Okay, let me see what I can do. And then from there, I started to just get a little bit more intrigued with how I can protect my money. So, and when I picked up that book, the Tax-Free Wealth.
That was the cheat code.
That was a cheat code. It's a cheat code. So please, if you guys have it, keep reading it, keep using it. If you never heard of it, please go look it up.
I'm adding that to the cart, to the wish list for sure.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, would love to know what has been, if you had to pick one thing, what's your favorite thing about Detroit?
Ooh. It could be anything.
It could be anything.
I'm gonna say the Lions.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Lions.
Ain't a bad choice.
Bad choice.
I said not a bad choice.
Oh,
yeah.
No,
you talking to a lifelong Lions fan. I'm locked in.
Okay.
Good and bad.
Right, so just for, I want to make sure I got it right. So it's Rich Dad Advisors, Tax-Free Wealth. So it's still a part of that Rich Dad Poor Dad collection.
Yeah.
But I think it was written by someone else though. I don't think it was written by no, it was written by Robert Kiyosaki. It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like an offshoot of Rich Dad Poor Dad.
So like, cause you have he has like 4 or 5 books in that
collection.
In that collection. Like the cash flow quadrant.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All that is in that collection. So.
Yeah. I need to revisit that because I read Rich Dad Poor Dad when, I wasn't there yet in terms of my comprehension of money. I'm way better now. So I need to revisit it to be able to be like, oh, okay, I can actually put stuff in these different buckets now.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think it's a great opportunity or a great place to start, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have no idea what it is. Surface level, but still a good book, nonetheless.
For sure.
I liked it. So
thank you for partaking in Freestyle Friday, even though we ain't getting no bars. Maybe next time we can get an 8, 16, something like that.
Yeah, you got a piano in here? I'll play the piano. You know what I'm saying? You got something, you got a tuba, I'll play a tuba. I don't know if I got too many freestyles.
So continuing the story, so we talked about your life in Benton Harbor, then being able to matriculate to Wayne State and then start that Detroit journey. And then you get an opportunity, even with you being in NFL, you go undrafted and then you bounce around from a few different teams to be able to start. Then, like you said, you landed with the New Orleans Saints and had the opportunity to be there. And then you really hit your stride once you had joined the Lions. And so would love to know, as being a fan at that point in time and watching the Lions, and you were here during some great years because, I mean, as you grew up a Lions fan, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I grew up a Berry fan for sure.
Oh, okay, perfect. So yeah, you know the history that we have as far as being Lions fans, but you had an opportunity to be a part of some of those better years. So what was that experience like for you, being in Detroit, a city that you had the opportunity to be able to be here for college, and then now being able to play here and then hitting your stride in the league as well?
Yeah, so it's funny. So yes, we're undrafted, and understand that draft night is going to be crazy, right? You're going to have phone calls from people the day before asking you, where you going to be at? You know, are you going to be with your family? Like, yeah, I'll be at home with my family. You know, so you think you're going to get the call the next day. You get no call. And the thing is, when you play at smaller schools, they try to do everything to discredit you, no matter how well you play, right? They'll try to use anything, right, to get you for as cheap as possible. Oh, he played against inferior competition. Oh, his 40 time was slow, you know. But you look at his numbers, you look at his body of work, you look at the film, he's a gamer. But they're gonna go off everything else to try to discredit you, right? And so I don't know how you look at a player who's top 10 in NCAA history, all division, in scoring, all-purpose yards, and rushing. Top 10 in NCAA history at 1, 2, 1AA, Division 3, and say, he's not gonna. All right. And so had a chip on my shoulder. Came in as a undrafted free agent rookie, and signed or undrafted rookie, and then signed with the Buffalo Bills. Went to the Philly, went to the Eagles, went to the Colts, got cut, went back to the Eagles, and left the Eagles, went to the Saints all my rookie year.
Crazy.
All my rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I end up in the playoffs.
Ended up in the playoffs, right? And this is like the pros and cons in the NFL, right? And cutthroat business, right? So if you play on a certain team for a certain amount of games, say 3 games, if that team goes to the playoffs, you get half of whatever that team makes in the playoff.
Okay.
So if I played on 2 teams that went to the playoffs, and then I was with the Saints, which was the 3rd team, so I was triple dipping. I was triple dipping. But this is the key. This is the part they don't tell you. You have to write a letter to each team requesting your money, and you have to do it between when the playoff starts and the Super Bowl. And if you don't, it's called SOL. And what you're thinking is almost what they mean, but statute of limitation.
Okay.
All right. But they mean the same thing. All right. They mean the exact same thing. And so I remember that. And I remember going to the Saints. And I remember the first game, they have 4 running backs. They have Chris Ivory, who actually played in my same division, and and I think he was a starter. You had Pierre Thomas, who was a seasoned vet. They had Darren Sproles, who they had just brought from the San Diego Chargers, and they had Mark Ingram, who they just drafted 1st round. They don't need a Joique Bell in the backfield. They're straight, right? They're fine, right? By the end of preseason, I had led the team in rushing and I led the team in receiving. So it was like, I'm going to figure it out. Like, and it takes a certain type of mentality to kind of push through that. And I say my childhood growing up kind of put that mentality in me. The work ethic that you talked about earlier, me watching my mom wake up Saturday mornings at 5 a.m, going to the beauty salon because she was a beautician, and doing hair from 6 a.m. all the way until 9 at night, and coming home with the bangs popping out of her legs. Like, I don't got no excuse. Like, why can't I? All right. And then, going to Wayne State and not even thinking I was going to be a starter. All right. Not even thinking that to, getting the starting position 1 week before my first game in college, and then taking off the way I did and setting the NCAA record for rushing for a freshman. I didn't know I was going to do that. I just knew I wanted to put up 2,000 yards that season. And coaches who were there, who ended up leaving, going to another school before the season started, said, no, just get 1,500 yards. And I'm going to tell you this, kids. If you guys have an ideal in your head or a goal that you want to reach, don't let anyone dim your light. Don't let anyone feel like you're dreaming too big, because he sat there in my face and told me, no, just get 1,500 yards. That'll be a good season for you. I said, no, I'm going to get 2,000 yards. He said, listen, just get 1,500. That'll be a great season. I said, no, I'm going to get 2,000 yards. Oh, we'll see. Okay, keep watching. And I did it. Right. But it was that faith that I had in myself, that I knew what I wanted to do. And not letting anyone, putting their fears or projecting their own thoughts onto what I had in store for my life. All that prepared me for what was coming in the NFL. NFL it gave me a great opportunity. All right, I met a lot of great men, but I want people to understand the NFL is a cutthroat business, and it's a what can you do for me now? The average NFL career is 3.1 years. You need 3.3 years to get your pension. Guys are getting cut right before they secure their pension. So you really got to make sure that you're doing everything that you can possible. And not only just in that league, but in anything that you do. Like waking up in the morning, having a routine, like this is a competition. You need to have a routine. Like, what am I doing? What am I waking up and doing? Like, am I going to be better today than I was yesterday? And all this matters. Like, are you reading? Are you watching extra film? Are you going over the plays? Are you understanding of just the concepts of what you guys are doing? Are you asking the right questions? Are you looking for the right things? Like when you watch film, what are you looking for? You're trying to find the weakness in. I was an offensive player, so I'm trying to find a weakness in the defense. I'm trying to find tendencies. I'm trying to look at their tendency when they're trying to disguise certain blitzes when I have to pick up blocks, right? Because if you can't block in this league, you're not going to be here long, right? And so for me I try to capitalize and I try to perfect everything else around my game rather than just running the ball, right? I wanted to be the best blocker. I wanted to have the best vision. I wanted to understand what was the O-line. Well, I wanted to know who the O-line was blocking and how they were blocking so I can set it up for them, right? And so it's like me going in and watching film on my own at the stadium, but at the same time, coaches walking by and they see me and they're watching film. And then when I go out and I perform well and I do well, like it's all contributed to the work that I'm putting in by just watching film. Right? It's not just about talent. Talent gets you in the door, right? But your work ethic, your talent, you understanding and becoming a professional and learning the science of your position of this game is what's going to keep you here longer. I think Tom Brady said it best. Basically, his mind was the internet, and he wanted to know how fast can he download certain things and certain tendencies from his competitors or his opponents, and being able to react quicker, right? Than anybody else on the field. And that what made him so successful. Like it was a couple players like that. Peyton Manning was like that. I never seen a player have this type of power of a franchise that Peyton had. He would have his own meetings during coaches' meetings and pull players out of those meetings because, when you have a player that knows probably more than most of your coaches, it's hard to say, you know what? Like they can't argue with you, right? And so, but he was very, it's a couple players I respect. Drew Brees, probably one of the best leaders I ever played with. Calvin Johnson, probably one of the most talented players I played with. Marshawn Lynch, probably one of the most dominant players I played with. Sue, meanest player I played with, and great player, right? And I love the way he played the game. And, as I learned this game, as I played, I learned that each player has a certain way that they are a leader. Some may be talking, some may just be straight action. We don't do any talking. Some may be just their leadership on how they are able to bring the team together and get everyone on the same page. And it's just being around that and learning that. I took all of that, what I learned, and put it into my business practice. And being able to deal with a lot of different personalities and being able to always stay calm in certain situations because you playing in front of millions of people to come back and, and have this type of pressure of, the pressure is kind of different, but for me, it's really no pressure. It's just more so like, how do we figure it out? It's different from where, you're playing in front of millions and the game's on the line and, versus, it's, you have families who are working for you and you have to figure out a way to make payroll. Yeah. Because they have 3 kids at home or one may need medication and they're counting on you to figure out, okay, how do we make this business successful? Now that's pressure. Playing football under that's not really, for me, it wasn't pressure. It was just, we prep for this. We're prepared for it. Now let's go execute. Now, mind you, we're going to fall short sometimes. We're playing against the best players in the world, right? And some days they might have your number. But when I came to the Lions, I feel like we had a team that we felt like our team was different. We felt like we needed to win now. And we had some great coaches. Jim Caldwell, I think he's probably one of the best coaches I've had. I have some great coaches. Him, I've had Andy Reid. I had Sean Payton when he was with the Saints after they just won the Super Bowl. So I had some good coaches. And kind of watching them and seeing how they were with the team. I also saw that a lot of your players, or I would say employees, they take on the identity of the person at the top. So if you're a person at the top that's OA, then that's going to trickle down into your staff. But if you are a person that can control your emotions, think logically, and be able to relay your messages in a way where people can understand, it really changes the dynamic of the business and also the respect that people have for you. Because it goes from a fear, right? People wanting to do good because they fear you, to people want to do well because they love you and they don't want you to go anywhere because they love the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I've learned when I played. When players love their coaches, they play well.
When it comes to, you had mentioned your businesses and some of the ethics that you've been able to get from not only life, but then also the game of football as well. For you, because I got to make sure that I put this in here. So Parlay, one of my favorite spots that I like to go to, you're a part of the ownership and creation of that. Is that your first like full-fledged entrepreneurship endeavor, or were there others prior to
That's
Parlay?
my last one.
Okay.
That's my last one. My first endeavor was real estate, was investing in real estate. And then I got into cannabis. I got into hemp. I got into crypto. And that was kind of 2000. Those went on from about 2012 to about 2018, 19 of me doing those things. And then in 2022, I formed a tech company called You Charge Up, which we have the largest footprint now in Michigan. And we spread out to Indiana, California, Tennessee, Florida, closing out on Dallas now. So we'll be in Texas, and then we'll be in the Phoenix Suns arena this year as well. So we're getting close to doing a couple of partnerships. We grabbed Henry Ford. So we're in Henry Ford. We're looking to grab a few hospitals, more hospitals, different brands. And so that was just probably one of the most successful ones I had. And then Parlay came after that, which is now I got one of my babies, right? So, and whenever you have a business, you're just starting up, you got to make sure that you're kind of engulfed in it. And you have to be, because if some things fall through the crack, then it's on you, right? And I have partners who I trust to do their job and to make sure they're making decisions that's going to best benefit the business. And then also, holding myself accountable to make sure I'm doing everything I can to make sure we're putting our right foot forward. And so, but Parlay is definitely something that I'm happy that I brought down here with my partners. One of my partners brought the idea to me. It was actually a friend's concept. And I knew about the concept, but I was like, if I'm going to do it, it has to be in Detroit. I have to have my hands on it. I don't want to do it where I'm not involved or I'm not there. And so when the opportunity came to where, okay, let's do it in Detroit, I brought in some more partners and raised some capital and put in a lot of our own capital. So I think we put up $1 million of our own money to start it. And then within a matter of 60 days, we had our first preview. And then probably within 2 weeks after that, we had our first weekend where we did a whole weekend soft opening. And then we waited 2 more weeks after that, did one more soft opening, and then waited 1 week and said, okay, we're ready now. And then opened up full time on November 15th, 2024. And it was almost like an immediate hit. Right. And I think what it was is that when we were very intentional when we built it out, right? We talked about me growing up a Lions fan. So Barry's a good friend. I told him, listen, I want to pay homage to the ones who came before me, and I want to name my cigar room after you. And he gave me his blessing. And so you can't fail, right? This has to be, all right, and it's not even that was even on my mind at all, because I knew this concept that we were bringing was something that hasn't been done in downtown Detroit yet. And it wasn't any spots like this in downtown Detroit, which was another reason why I wanted to do it, which is, again, Rich Dad Poor Dad. One of the 5 laws of financial fitness is supply and demand, learning, understanding the market. Right. And so understanding the market, understand what we have here, and it wasn't here. I knew that it was a need for it. I didn't know how big of a need it was for something like this. To be able to come downtown to have a sports bar where you can have, kind of a luxury ambiance with good food, with booths that are comfortable enough to fit 4 of me and there to watch a whole game. Right. And when a lot of restaurants are looking to turn tables over quick to get more people on the tables, we're actually quite the opposite. We're not turning.
We want you to stay for a minute.
We want you to stay. We want you to, and we don't want you to feel rushed. We want you to, if the Lions are playing and you want to sit down in your booth and watch the game, we don't do reservations on game days because it's so packed in there because of the ambiance and the vibes that it's so warm from our service. And then that's another thing, our hospitality. We want to have the best service. All right. We want our servers to walk around with smiles on their face. Right. And that's one thing that I tell them every day. Like, even if you don't feel like it, just smile in the mirror for 60 seconds. It'll change your bio. All right. You go from like, okay, just leave whatever is happening outside those doors. Do not bring that inside a parlay because that's not part of our brand.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and just, from the speakeasy to our patio, to our cigar room, to, our parlay to go, all these different things. Right. And for us to have an opportunity to bring that to the city and downtown in a great location that is neutral, where we're, a 12-minute walk at most to the farthest stadium away. All right, 4 blocks away, 7-8 minute walk from Ford Field, 7-8 minute walk to Comerica Park, 12 to 15 minute walk to LCA. Like, you're right here, you're right next to everything, right? And then that be right next to where majority of the best hotels in the city are. The Roost, David Whitney, the Shinola.
Yep.
You have Book Cadillac. You have the Book Towers. You have City Club Apartments. So all this, people just walk downstairs and just come across the street and just come patronize, right? And it's always an opportunity to meet new people, right? So it's an elevated spot to where it's not like your typical sports bar where you just let me throw anything going here.
Yeah.
No, you gotta come correct.
Right.
You gotta come correct because you're gonna have some of the most influential people in the city in here. So you're not gonna come in and look any type of way. Yes. And that's the culture that we built there.
Yeah. And you do your famous pictures with people when they come in town, where they doing concerts, or they happen to be in town. They like, we got to go pull up the parlay. All these celebrities and people making some moves.
100%. And we don't even post all of them that come in, right? We post a few. But I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's kind of through, like I said, not only what we built, but also through relationships. Like I told you, one of the biggest things for me is, that I got out of college was networking. So when Kevin Hart comes in 3 times during his stay here, all right, his best friend's wife went to school with me at Wayne State. And, when they get married, I'm at the wedding right next to Kevin, and we're talking cannabis, right? And then from that point on, became like a guy who I always had a lot of respect for, not because of what he was doing in comedy, but what he was doing in the business world.
Yeah.
All right. And very smart, intelligent man when it comes to business. And that's one thing I didn't know about him until I met him. I'm like, wow, he's smart. Like, he's really smart. He's really, not only a logical thinker, like he reminds me a lot of myself. He figures things, like he figures it out. Like, he just figures it out, right? And built a solid team around him. The Plastic Cup Boys, shout out to them. Naeem, Spank, Wayne, all those guys. Solid guys. Solid. Every time I come around, it's always love. Always love. And, and that's just one person I can talk about, right? And it's just a great opportunity to have something like that in the city, to where we can, in our short time, we become a staple. Right. And so it's truly a blessing, because there's so many other good restaurants and different places that you can go to in downtown Detroit. And for people to come patronize with us, we don't take that lightly. Yeah. Right.
And one of the main things I appreciate is that y'all open at hours during the day when people can pull up no matter what your schedule is looking like. Some places might not open till 4 or whatever. Like, I can pull up the parlay for lunch. I can pull up for brunch on the weekend. I can come for the game. Like there's accessibility.
So, and that's where it was. So we opened up at 3.
Oh, okay.
We opened up at 3.
Maybe I had a late lunch.
But we honestly, because we did the 11 o'clock, it just wasn't enough traffic.
Yeah.
Right. And so it was like, it just didn't make sense. But I actually love opening up at 11. So we may go back.
Okay.
We may go back to it.
Okay.
So right now we're at 3, but we do open up at 11 on Saturday and Sunday for our brunch.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's every Saturday and Sunday. We're going to open up at 11. And I love it because, especially now, because now we can utilize our patio. Our patio is super dope. And we call it Parlay Outfield. It's just the concept we came up with it. And I love when we open up our windows. We have the accordion windows that opens up to inside to where if you're sitting outside, you can still see the TVs right in front of you inside. And I love that when people are driving down Grand River and they're riding by, they have to see inside through the windows what we have going on. And it's, it's jam-packed, every weekend, every Lions game, every Piston playoff game is being packed. And just a vibe. Get there early, please. Please don't Please don't get there during the game and then call my phone. I don't got a place to sit. Me either. Come stand over here with me.
Right. I have a question for you. So in terms of like you talk about your network and the connections that you made over the years in terms of your former folks, teammates, friends in the league or have been in the league, what that common conversations to talk about business and like entrepreneurship and things that you might be doing, or was that not necessarily like, I guess, locker room talk, so to speak? Was that not common for people to talk about, I'm about to do this business or I'm considering doing this and that?
Not really. All right, not really. Like even with business now, like I don't have to sit there and do the day-to-day operations, right? I build a team and then they go and they take our vision and they bring it to life. No. We can oversee them. We can oversee what they're doing and kind of understand, we don't really like it that way. How about we try it this way? And then let's see how that works out. And if it works out, we stick with it. If it doesn't, we'll go back to the drawing board. But we have people on our team that handles our day-to-day operation who are doing a heck of a job. Like, no one's perfect, but they're definitely pushing our concept and our vision through the roof. And we're extremely proud of what they've done and what they've created. And it's a great opportunity. But yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so what's next for Joique? What's next for your charity businesses? What do you have in your crystal ball that you can tell us about that's happening in the future?
Honestly, it's just growing my nonprofit bigger and bigger and bigger. Like last year we had 200 kids. This year we have 500.
Fire.
Next year we want to do 1,000. Next year we want to do 2,000, and we want to continue to grow this concept. Now, as we continue to grow, it's going to come with some growing pains. But stick with us because we're going to perfect this. And I think this year is going to be better than last year, and then next year is going to be better than this year. It's going to continue to get better and better and better. And I'm just excited to see where we are 10 years from now, where we can go back and say, these kids were a part of our program, and now they're back tutoring some of the same kids that went to the same schools as them. All right. Similar to you. Like, you're part of Midnight Golf, and you came out of 08, 09.
Yep.
Yeah. And now you're back there doing interviews at the gala, with one of the greatest actors to come out of Detroit.
Right.
Like, that's a full circle moment for you. Right. And I just want to be able to create those same opportunities for the kids in my program.
No doubt. And you most definitely will. Already on the pathway to do so. So before we get up out of here, how can the people tap in with you if they want to follow the journey? They want to get them kids in that camp and hit a buzzer beater and get as many in as possible. How can they find you?
100%. So if you guys want to go to Joique Bell Charity on Instagram, you go to Joique Bell Charity. If you want to go to my personal page, I'll push a lot of my charity work on there as well, along with some of my other businesses. And there's going to be Juggernaut, just my name, JOIQUE, RNAUT, right there at the bottom.
Yeah, I got you.
Right down the bottom. And then also feel free to go to our website at jbcharity.org, which is going to be right here. Just help me out there. It's super dope. So if you guys want to stay in contact, so go to any one of those, and we're posting constantly. So.
And I got to ask you this. This is something I always wondered for years, and now we're sitting here having this conversation. What's the origin of Joique? Where did that name come from?
Grandparents. So I'm Joique Bell II, actually.
Okay.
And my grandparents came up with the name because they wanted both of their kids to have the letter J. So my aunt name is Joy, and my father's name was Joique. And Joique is French/Greek for conqueror.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, Joique, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the platform today, man, and love to see your intentionality, like I said, not only with the city of Detroit, but the moves that you make in the city as well, whether it be business, nonprofit, giving people opportunities. It's truly amazing, man. And also being a phenomenal ambassador for us as well.
Appreciate it. Or fashion, like you said.
in fashion icon.
Definitely not that, but I appreciate the compliment, though, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody watching and listening, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.